Hi and welcome back. Class 1, Exercise 1, Breathing Life into Your Vowels, a warm-up. You'll see me looking down. That's because I'm going to be reading the script that you have. That's to keep us on time, number one, but also for you to be able to follow along with me, okay? Renowned voice coach Roger Love says that great speaking only happens when the right amount of air meets the right amount of vocal cords. You can go onto YouTube and find videos of little vocal cords and watch how quickly they vibrate. They're rather like hummingbirds. The louder, the higher the pitch, the faster they vibrate. And mastering your voice, learning to control and move the air as it crosses your vocal cords will make an enormous difference to the way in which you are heard, perceived, and understood. Now we start with vowels, because we say that vowels carry the music of the English language. Vowels can be elongated, they can be shortened, they carry emotion. They also can be held long enough to get us up and down through our intonation patterns, up to what we call the top note, or down also to the bottom note. They change in length. It's a three-note language because there are three stresses, and the stresses almost always are on the vowels because it's the vowels that can be held, that can go up there. You can't really do much with the sound of a T. T. But an oh, with vowels you can do so much and you can express emotion. So we start with vowels. Vowels open your throat, just as a songbird opens its throat to sing. So let's begin by releasing your voice by making the vowel sounds. Now I want you to sit on the front one half of your office chair. It says there preferably a chair without wheels. Many office chairs have wheels. But if you are on a chair with wheels, just make sure that you plant your feet on the ground, okay? So that you get yourself really nice and steady. I don't want you feeling insecure in your posture at all, because posture is a very big part of getting the breath down to the diaphragm, that area just below the belly. That's called the seat of vocal expression. All good vocal expression comes from the diaphragm, from the breathing muscle, right there, down by your lower belly. So let's begin, okay? Now I want you to keep your spine nice and straight, but not stiff, not like you're in the army. I want you to tuck your chin in just a little. And just look down. Don't really need to see me right now on the video. Just listen to my voice and follow the commands, okay? Now take a moment just to let go of your worries and all of the stress of the day that's been or the day that's about to greet you. Just start out by breathing normally. Just take a moment to focus on your breath. Maybe roll your neck around a little, thinking of releasing tension, and maybe just letting a big yawn. Very nice. And just get a feeling of kind of relaxing. And breathe, first of all, breathe through your nose down into your belly. And then try breathing out through your mouth. And now breathe through your mouth and out through your nose. You know, in speaking, we use both breathing through the mouth as well as breathing through the nose. So it's a very good idea to become practiced at both of them. Now, in today's busy world, I'm going to bet that many of you are just breathing into the shoulders here. If I were to stand behind you and put my hands on your shoulders, I bet you I would feel. Put your hands on your shoulders and breathe deeply. And are your shoulders moving? Because now look at, you will not see my hands move at all. Because I'm breathing into my belly. Now take your hands and put them down there on your belly, just below your belly button. And as you inhale, you want to feel your belly get really nice and fat. It kind of pushes your hands out. And as you exhale, let the hands push the belly in. Begin to feel the air as it comes up and across the vocal cords, out through the mouth. So again, inhaling, keeping the shoulders down, breathing way into the belly, and then exhaling. Really tightening the belly and letting the air come up and across the vocal cords and out through your mouth. Now, if you breathe in to the count of 2, try to breathe out to the count of 4. It's hard to do that because I find my breathing. But you know what I mean. If you breathe into 3, breathe out to 6. See, in speaking, we have to breathe very quickly, but we have to take a long time to exhale. So you really have to master breathing not into the shoulders or the chest, but down into the belly. That's where the fuel for your voice comes from. So now as you inhale, filling the belly nice and fat, we call it Buddha belly in meditation, nice fat tummy. This time as you exhale, make the sound as if you're going to the doctor. Ah. So breathing in, and make a good old ah. And try to hold it nice and steady. You don't want it to be going, many of you start there, and it's a really good place to start, because if you were to tape yourself, as I want you to do, your goal is to try to get it as nice and smooth as you can. Now, take a sip of your water, as I'm going to do right now, because we're going to start vibrating those cords, those little itty bitty cords, and they need to be well lubricated. Just a sip. So, inhaling as you exhale. Make the sound of the doctor as you go to the doctor. And just find your middle voice. And as you get out of breath, you should really be increasing your volume, because the diaphragm should be pushing that muscle to push that air up. So rather than running out of breath and getting weak, as in, you should be thinking of getting stronger. If you could see, I'm actually tightening the belly as I think of pushing that air up and across. So practice that. Practice it 3 times. Practice different notes: high, low, medium. Here would be too low. Do you hear the gravel? Do you hear how hard it was for me to sustain that? Because it was just too low. Now, I have a low voice, so I don't want to keep leading you on the pitch here. It's important that you find your own pitch. I have a lower voice than most people. So if you're trying to follow my voice, you may find it, my register is too low. So stop the tape right now and try that sound 3 times, filling up the belly and releasing to a nice as when you go to the doctor. And when you've done it 3 times, come on back, because then we're going to move to the long vowel sounds, okay? Good. Hopefully by now you're feeling some tension leaving. The reason I want you to keep your feet nice and firm on the ground, sometimes when we do breathing, we can get a little bit lightheaded. So I just want you to take a break whenever you need it. Make sure you've got your feet planted nice and firmly on the ground, and make sure that you have a glass of water, as my mother would say, to wet your whistle. Okay, good. Now, breathing into the belly, let's make the sounds of the 5 vowel names: A, E, I, O, and U. We'll start with A. We're going to do them in that order: A, E, I, O, and U, starting with A, filling out. I'm increasing the volume on purpose. And I'm not pushing the vocal cords, I'm pushing the wind. Try it again. I'm going to go a little higher. That is a little bit out of my range, so you can hear that quiver just a little. And that, dear students, is why you need to practice on your own, because a normal tone for you is a hard tone for me. So 3 times, more if you want, stopping and starting, going high, low, medium. Keep trying. Record yourself. When you hear smooth, steady tones, you are within your register. As soon as you feel that, or you hear any gravel, stop. As soon as you hear gravel, stop. As soon as you feel pressure, stop. They're little muscles. You don't want to tear them. They tear very easily. You don't want to cause any vocal trauma. You don't want nodules. You want to make these muscles your friend. Keep playing with it. Take it easy. Keep your vocal cords nice and wet. Go try the A, the E, the I, the O, and the U. And if you like, as you go, once you've mastered them, you can put those sounds all together. I, E, I, O, and play with them and see if you can do them smoothly and notice what happens in the throat. I want you to become very, very familiar with what's happening inside the vocal cords. So the instructions are there pretty easily, and I want you to stop and start this video as you like so that you can just practice. Otherwise, the video would be so long. It should take you about 30 minutes by stopping and starting to actually do this warm-up. Now, once you get the warm-up down pat, you could do it in a matter of minutes. But we are developing these muscles and we are strengthening these muscles. Now, that I also should say, if it takes you a couple of weeks to get through this first class, fine. There's no hurry. You've got your human voice for as long as you live. It really is in your best interest to take your time to learn how to make these sounds properly. Let's go to exploring your vocal range. This is exercise 2. I love this. I always say to my students, as my voice coach taught me, practice this one in the shower. Matter of fact, it's a good idea to practice a lot of the vocal exercises in the shower because the steam helps to loosen up a lot of the mucus that's in the nasal passages, that's in the throat. It's a wonderful way in the morning when you're showering. Just go through these exercises, the vowel exercises and these ones that we're about to do. Now, let's look page 6 of your script, exercise 2, explore your vocal range. It says at the top, very important information. Spoken English is a beat or stress-driven language. It's a 3-note language because it has 3 clear stress patterns and vowel lengths. You've heard me say that several times. There is a 4th note, the high and loud cautionary note, where everything is equally stressed. Watch out! But other than that, there are 3 notes that don't go up to that 4th note. We save that 4th note for warning. The rest of those 3 notes, I want you to master. Now, before we get into detail, looking at what those 3 notes are, we're still focusing on your range. So let's begin by awakening these chambers. Let's really get your voice loosened up. Now, we've got the chords going. Now, let's get the chambers where all the vibration comes from because voice is vibrated. As the air comes across the vocal cords, we vibrate almost all the sounds. There are some that are voiceless or non-vibrated, but most of the sounds in the English language are vibrated. So let's start with filling up the air again and start with your what we call the middle voice, and let's make good long humming sound of Now I'm going to fill up my voice. Do it with me, please. I'm going to fill up my belly rather. Shoulders down. Do you feel vibration? Keep going. Hold it as long as you can. If you're in the middle voice, which is where I am, you should feel some vibration, especially in around the lips. Try that again, please. Filling up the air. Sustainability. Smooth, steady tone. Tape yourself until you get this right. Fill up the belly. As I'm running low on breath, I should be making those sounds louder because I'm using my diaphragm to increase my volume. Practice that. Okay. That's right. Let's go down into a chest voice, a little lower. Feel the resonation down here. You should feel it in around here. See how that feels and sounds different from that's up in here. Let's go high. That's up in here. That's where the nasal passages are resonating. So we've got Now, practice those. You can practice in the car, when you're doing dishes, when you're doing anything. You can practice when you're reading. Practice these all the time. Become familiar. Train your ear to hear those different voices, okay? Get familiar. You will know when you hit the right range. You'll hear it. When it sounds strong, when you are actually able to increase volume as the air is leaving the diaphragm, then you are in the right range. Because if you are not in the right range, your volume will decrease significantly with your air. But if you are in the right range and you are pushing that diaphragm and pushing that belly, helping that air come out by pushing from the belly, and you are in the right range, you will be able to sustain those magnificent qualities of tone. You know, the awakening the chambers, the nasal chambers and the chambers of resonance is what brings that richness to a voice. You know, many of you, when you speak in front of microphones, I wonder if you know the age-old secret. Lower your voice, speak softer. When you speak softer, the bottom range of your voice can come through. Stereo microphones love the bottom range. It's what gives depth to your voice. Practice these sounds. You can see after you practice the then you me, my. Now, my, me. Play around. Play around, develop it, master it, hear it, tape your voice, become enamored with your voice. For many of us, when we first hear our voices, it's like fingernails going down the chalkboard. When you speak with headphones, when you're recording your voice, soften your voice. Get into that lower register. How do you do that? You master the quality of breath as it goes across those vocal cords. I'm not musical. If you are, you're probably thinking, wow, this woman can't sing. But I'm not teaching you how to sing. I'm teaching you how to speak, and I can do that. Okay, work hard. I guess because there's a couple of minutes, there's one thing I want to add. Here's an exercise. It's not in your script, but I want you to practice it. Go up, take a breath, go up a tiny half a tone. Do 5 and then try to match the same 5 coming back down so that you end on the same note you started with. I like you to play with the range of 5 to find your authentic vibration for your 3 notes. Get to work, master these. We're now going to go on to elocution. Good fun. We're going to do some articulation exercises as well as some tongue twisters. Please practice these voice exercises. Keep practicing them whenever you can. Keep your water handy. Never, ever promise me again you will never get up there and speak without doing these warm-up exercises. You don't want nodules on your vocal cords. Okay, get to work, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye now.